The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In the absence of clergy, let us bow our heads in a moment of silent reflection or prayer. Reading of the Journal.
In Senate, Monday, February 28, 2022, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The Journal of Sunday, February 27, 2022, was read and approved. On motion, the Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the Journal stands approved as read. Presentation of petitions. Messages from the Assembly. The Secretary will read.
Senator Sanders moved to discharge from the Committee on Mental Health and Disabilities Assembly Bill number 7686, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 7144, third reading calendar 246. Senator Gennard has moved to discharge from the Committee on Investigation and Government Operations Assembly Bill number 2483B, as substituted for the identical Senate Bill 3395A, third reading calendar 386. Senator Breslin moves to discharge from the Committee on Insurance Assembly Bill number 7786, as substituted for the identical Senate Bill 3577, third reading calendar 489.
Substitution so ordered. Messages from the Governor. Reports of standing committees. Reports of select committees. Communications and report from state officers. Motions and resolutions. Senator Gianaris.
Madam President, I move to adopt the resolution calendar.
All in favor of adopting the resolution calendar, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The resolution calendar is adopted. Senator Gianaris.
There's also a privilege resolution at the desk. Can we please take that up, read its title, and recognize Senator Mayer?
There's a substitution at the desk. Substitution so ordered. The Secretary will read.
Senators Mayer and Stavisky move to substitute Assembly Bill Concurrent Resolution number 584 by Assembly members Benedetto and Glick, and substituted for the identical Senate Concurrent Resolution number 1957. Concurrent Resolution of the Senate and Assembly providing for the election of 3 regents of the University of the State of New York.
Thank you, Madam President. It's really an honor to get up and speak in support of this resolution, appointing 3 members to the Board of Regents, 2 reappointments and 1 new appointment. And it's an honor to submit the names of Susan Mittler for the 6th District and Ruth Turner for the 7th District as reappointments. I, along with many of my colleagues, Senator Stavisky, members of the Assembly and members of the Minority Conference, all listened to a number of people who expressed an interest in serving on this very important institution that helps determine the education policy of our state. And I'm proud to say that we currently have a very constructive relationship with the Board of Regents. They actually listen to the suggestions of our legislature, and we look forward to working closely with them with the reappointment of these 2 existing regents. I'm also particularly pleased that we are appointing Shino Tanakawa to the 1st District representing Manhattan to the Board of Regents. Senator Lieu and I, along with many of our colleagues during the height of COVID, dealt with parents and activists throughout the New York City public school system with their frustrations and concerns on behalf of their children. And Shino Tanakawa was one of those voices, a reasonable, thoughtful, but advocacy person who really spoke on behalf of family members. And even though her children are older, she has a long and very admirable history as an advocate on behalf of our children throughout the city of New York. She currently sits on the Citywide Council on High Schools, is a founding member of the Education Council Consortium, which is a large group, was a member of the Community Education Council for District 2, and has a long history in the Parent-Teacher Association and all of the activities that very active parents engage in on behalf of their children. So it's really a pleasure that she will be joining the Board of Regents, being a voice for parents, a thoughtful voice, a big picture person who recognizes the role of the Board of Regents and the opportunities we have to continue to fight for quality education for every student in New York. So I'm very pleased to have these three very fine, distinguished people, and I move their recommendations and appointment. Thank you, Madam President.
Hold on. Where is she? Senator Kruger on the resolution.
Thank you so much, Madam President. So nice to see you up there. I'm here in this room with other people. It's very exciting, and no mask. It's very exciting. But I'm here to just talk briefly on the region from Manhattan that has been moved through, and her name is Shino Tanikawawa. And she's not my constituent. She actually is farther south in Manhattan, but she was the chair of our CEC for my school district and involved with endless other responsibilities relating to schools in New York City. And she's truly an extraordinary woman. And we all know what it means to work in public service, all of us here on this floor, because that's what we've chosen to do. But we actually get a paycheck for it. And Sheena's one of those people who, though she doesn't get a paycheck for any of the work she's been doing for years and years, has been an extraordinary contributor to the public education system in New York, as well as, more recently, very, very involved in environmental and climate change issues. And so she has participated with the Citywide Council on High Schools, the Educational Council Consortium. Again, as I said, she was on the CEC for School District 2 for Manhattan, was the president of the board, and is just one of those super smart people that you know you want doing things in the public good, because she's always going to look out for the interests of the children and the families and the schools. And so I couldn't be happier to stand here as a, I guess, confirmee of her qualifications to be the next Manhattan Regent. And thank you very much, Madam President.
Senator Jackson on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Madam Leader. I rise in support of Shino for the State Board of Regents from the 1st District. I've known her as an education advocate in New York City, but not only that, but the process that was used with Deborah Glick, the Assembly member chairing the New York City people, it was very diplomatic, it was very transparent, and also I say to you that my first, there were 2 people that I was supporting as far as my initial votes, but in order to reach a consensus, sometimes people have to give. And when I saw the handwriting on the wall, I said that Shino is my choice, all things considered. All things considered, when you bake a cake, you're putting all of the ingredients in there to make sure that the cake rises up, and when you eat it, it tastes good. So I do believe that she's going to represent all of the people of the City of New York and the State of New York as a member of the State Board of Regents. So I say aye for Shino.
The question is on the resolution. The Secretary will call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White. Ayes 43, nays.
Ready? Announce the results.
Those senators voted negative on the resolution are Senators Akshar, Borrello, Boyle, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Jordan, Lanza, Martucci, Matera, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rath, Ritchie, Sereno, Steck, Tedisco, and White. Ayes 43, nays 20.
The resolution is adopted. Senator Janaris.
Madam President, moving back to motions for a second, amendments are offered to the following third reading calendar bills by Senator Thomas, calendar 132, Senator Kennedy, calendar 263, Senator Salazar, calendar 268, and Senator Sepulveda, calendar 370.
The amendments are received and the bills will retain its place on the third reading calendar. Senator Janaris.
Let's take up the reading of the calendar now, please.
The Secretary will read.
Calendar number 102, Senate Print 738 by Senator Biaggi, an act to amend the General Obligations Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 102, vote in the negative, Senator Lanza. Ayes 62, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 103, Senate Print 766 by Senator Gurnardez, an act to amend the General Obligations Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 60th day of the shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Senator Gurnardez to explain his vote.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise today in proud support of this legislation, which would ban no rehire clauses in settlement agreements between some victim of sexual harassment and an accused employer. All too often, we have learned by hearing from the voices of victims and people who have been abused and harassed that when they try to settle their cases to be able to get recourse for what happened to them, they are told that they can never apply for a job at that company ever again. Now, that might make sense if you worked at a place with one employee and one employer, but for the world that we're living in today, with multinational corporations, with businesses that span the globe, imagine being told that after you were the victim of sexual harassment in your workplace by someone touching you, making comments to you, making you feel uncomfortable, and that you will never have a chance to work in that industry or for that company ever again. It's used as a tactic to intimidate and to silence victims. And by passing this legislation today, which the Senate has done multiple times in the past, we are sending an affirmative statement that we want to empower the voices of victims and not allow the law to be used as a weapon against them, to force their silence and to force their acquiescence when they have been abused at the hands of harassers. I proudly support this bill, and I thank all of my colleagues who have supported this bill as well. Thank you.
Senator Gurnardez to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 103, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Akshar, Borrello, Boyle, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Jordan, Lanza, Martucci, Matera, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rath, Ritchie, Sereno, Steck, Tedisco, and White. Ayes 43, nays 20.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 109, Senate Print 6824 by Senator Prasad, an act to amend the Family Court Act.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 63.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 215, Senate Print 25C by Senator Kaplan, an act in relation to requiring the Empire State Development Corporation to study the economic impact of optimizing kitchen incubators in New York State.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 215, voted in the negative, Senator Akshar. Ayes 62, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 246, Assembly number 7686 by Assemblymember Frontis, an act to amend the mental hygiene law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Janoris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 63.
The bill is passed. Calendar number 268 is high and be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 361, Senate Print 7399 by Senator Gorin, an act to amend the general municipal law.
The bill will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 380, Senate Print 566A by Senator Hoylman, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 90th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 63.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 381, Senate Print 812A by Senator Biaggi, an act to amend the executive law.
Laid aside.
Calendar number 382, Senate Print 936 by Senator Kruger, an act to amend the tax law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 1st of April.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to Calendar 382, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Gallivan, Griffo, Jordan, Lanza, Martucci, Oberacker, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rath, and Tedisco. Ayes 51, nays 12.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 386, Assembly number 2483B by Assemblymember New, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Gennardis to explain his vote.
President, 3 years ago, this body took a momentous step forward in reforming our state's sexual harassment laws and bringing the law into the 21st century by saying that no longer did someone have to prove that they were subject to severe or pervasive behavior as they were being harassed or abused. But as that bill made its way to the floor, inexplicably, we carved out people who work in the legislative body, in the executive body, who work for the judiciary, people who work for town councils and local governments and county governments, the very people who work in the halls of power, who are often subject to the most obscene and abusive forms of harassment, were carved out of the very protections of the state's sexual harassment law that we were trying to boldly take forward. But today, 3 years later, I am so incredibly proud that we are taking steps to finally close the license to harass loophole. And we are saying unequivocally, with one voice, that all employees of this state, regardless of whom you work for, whether it's in the public sector or the private sector, are subject to the same protections of the state's human rights law, and that everyone is free, deserves a workplace that is free from intimidation, discrimination, and harassment. This bill and closing this loophole is a long time coming. I'm so glad that after we pass this bill in this chamber today, it'll go to the governor's desk for her signature, and finally we can right the wrong that we left unattended to several years ago. I proudly vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Gennardis to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to Calendar 386, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Lanza, Oberacker, and Ort. Ayes 60, nays. Also, Senator O'Mara. Ayes 59, nays 4.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 389, Senate Print 5870 by Senator Gennardis, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Senator Gennardis to explain his vote.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill is another one of the package, another bill in this really landmark package of bills to help dismantle the harassment protection machine that has allowed to exist in our laws for far too long. We are taking an affirmative step today to extend the statute of limitations for victims of sexual harassment or workplace discrimination from 3 years to 6 years. And why is that important? Because when you spend any time talking to victims, people who have endured this form of behavior, you know that artificially capping the time by which they can come forward to tell their stories, share their pain, and then file for their legal recourse in the courts, you cannot put a time limit on that. 3 years is simply not enough time for individuals to be able to share their stories and share their pain. By extending the statute of limitations, by making it 6 years, we are empowering the victims of harassment and discrimination to be able to tell their stories when they feel ready to, and to tell them that the courts will be there to hear their claim and to hear their story and to vindicate their rights once and for all. I proudly vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Gennard is to record it in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 63.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 428, Senate Print 5628 by Senator Bailey, an act to amend the Social Services Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 428, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Akshar, Borrello, Griffo, Helming, Jordan, Lanza, Martucci, O'Mara, Palumbo, Sereno, Steck, and Tedisco. Ayes 51, nays 12.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 433, Senate Print 849A by Senator Gennardis, an act to amend the civil practice law and rules.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 60th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 433, those senators voted in the negative are Senator Lanza, ayes 62, nays 1.
Sure. The bill is passed.
Calendar number 441, Senate Print 6239 by Senator Thomas, an act to amend the administrative code of the City of New York.
The bill will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 445, Senate Print 5487 by Senator Rivera, an act to amend the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect on the 90th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 63.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 485, Senate Print 7864 by Senator Brooks, an act to amend the general municipal law and the public authorities law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 63.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 489, Assembly number 7786 by Assemblymember Cahill, an act in relation to requirement of the Department of Financial Services to conduct a study regarding insurance or other risk mitigation tools.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 489, voted in the negative, Senator Akshar, ayes 62, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 503, Senate Print 1057 by Senator Mayer, an act to amend the education law.
Read the last section.
Section 7, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 63.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 523, Senate Print 7027 by Senator Parker, an act in relation to maintaining the continued viability of the state's existing large-scale renewable energy resources.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 523, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Akshar, Borrello, and Ort, ayes 60, nays 3.
The bill is passed. Senator Gianaris, that completes the reading of today's calendar.
Now move to the controversial calendar, please.
The secretary will ring the bell. Secretary will read.
Calendar number 381, Senate Print 812A by Senator Biaggi, an act to amend the executive law.
Senator Lanza, why do you rise?
Madam President, I believe there's an amendment at the desk. I waive the reading of that amendment and ask that Senator Sereno be recognized and heard.
Thank you, Senator Lanza. Upon review of the amendment, in accordance with Rule 6, Section 4B, I rule it non-germane and out of order at this time.
Accordingly, Madam President, I appeal the ruling of the chair and ask that Senator Serino be recognized.
The appeal has been made and recognized, and Senator Serino may be heard.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill is germane because both aim to empower victims of sexual harassment to report abuse. While I support the intent of this bill before us today, which would create a confidential legal hotline to provide pro bono advice to victims, once again, I think we're still failing to get to the heart of the issue to actually prevent sexual harassment here in state government. The problem is lack of effective enforcement of the laws we already have on the books. What's missing is a process that victims can actually trust to hold their perpetrators accountable. Look at what's happening today with Governor Andrew Cuomo. Here we are passing the same old package of bills we passed last year on a day when the disgraced governor is launching a media blitz to discredit the voices of his victims and sway public opinion to his favor. This is the kind of behavior that discourages victims from speaking out against abusers who clearly hold all the power here, and nothing we're passing today would prevent this from happening again in the future. The amendment I'm presenting now is a bill that I sponsor that would create a totally independent commission to collect reports of sexual harassment, substantiate them, and truly hold perpetrators accountable. Creating a hotline might be a step in the right direction, but this bill doesn't even have a companion bill in the Assembly. Once again, the majority is passing a package of bills to score a headline, not to make a real difference. We could pass my amendment today and make New York a safer place to work for all of our valued government employees. Once again, this is a moment to set politics aside and work together to ensure that our state is a place where survivors are heard, perpetrators are held accountable, and all New Yorkers feel safe from harassment of any kind. I urge my colleagues to vote aye. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. I want to remind the House that the vote is on the procedures of the House and the ruling of the chair. Those in favor of overruling the chair signify by saying aye.
Madam President, we've agreed to waive the showing of hands and record each member of the minority in the affirmative.
Without objection, so ordered. Announce the results.
Ayes 20.
The ruling of the chair stands, and the bill in chief is before the House. Are there any other senators wishing to be heard? Seeing, hearing none, the debate is closed. The secretary will ring the bell. Read the last section.
Section 2, this action take effect on the 120th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 63.
The bill is passed. Senator Gianaris, that completes the reading of the controversial calendar.
Is there any further business at the desk?
There is no further business at the desk.
Before we adjourn, Madam President, let me wish you a happy birthday today.
Thank you. It's spicy season, Senator.
Most applause we've had in the chamber in 2 years. Also, can I announce there will be a virtual meeting of the Senate Democratic Conference immediately following session.
There will be a virtual meeting of the Senate Democratic Conference immediately following session.
And now I move to adjourn until tomorrow, Wednesday, March 2nd at 3 p.m.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Wednesday, March 2nd at 3 p.m.